How's it going out there, YouTube? My name is Jesse, and I am the curator for the Golden Age. And this is another...
Lost Heroes of the Golden Age.
Yes, this is Lost Heroes of the Golden Age, and...
Why are you procrastinating?
Because I really don't want to do this one.
You've already recorded the review.
Yeah, and I really shouldn't have done this re-review.
A little late for that now.
Nothing to it but to do it. Okay, I'm doing a re-review on Adam Blake, and I really kind of wish I didn't. When I first covered Adam Blake way back in the early starting of the Golden Age, it was my first time really going over Fawcett comics, and I didn't know who Adam Blake was, but I went ahead and covered him anyways. And I had no idea how ridiculous and absurd the story was going to get. It almost started sounding like it was starting off with something reasonable, and then went into left field so fast that you didn't even see, it's like you didn't even see the pitch. The ball was just gone, and you're just like, what? How? Why? I don't understand. And the wording of each story, I mean, the person who was the writer for this, the artist and the writer may not have been the same person, but the person who wrote for the story really needs to go back to English school, because some of the sentence structures and the way that they worded these things, I had to read over some of these, and I'm like, oh my God, who wrote this? Even in the very first issue, I'm going to point out some instances of really perplexing and unusual sentence structures, and it plagues all the stories, which is why I think in his very last appearance, that might have been one of the reasons that his very last story was a backup feature. It starts off seeming sensible and then just goes in a really weird way. So let's go ahead and cover the first appearances in maybe the second story, which kind of veers away from the original, but the issues from 2 to 5 are so unlike his origin story, it makes you wonder if either number one, the stories were changed because they didn't like their original premise, or number two, they forgot what the origin story was and it got really stupider from there. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense, and I'm actually glad that it ended after 5 issues, because it kind of turned into a little bit of a slog near the end. I did finish it, just to say I finished it, and I've read stupider stuff that I've enjoyed more than this. It was kind of a hassle. So let's go ahead and get into Adam Blake, and stay tuned at the end while I announce something interesting that we're going to be doing for October. So until then, stay tuned to the end, and let's get this one started. Okay, this is the re-review of Adam Blake. Adam Blake, also known as the Boy Wizard, first appeared in WoW Comics #1 in 1940. Publisher Fawcett, creator Pierce Rice. Now, everything I talked about in the first review of Adam Blake is actually going to be covered in his first appearance. I didn't have a chance to read the comic books back then. I've had the ability to read them now. He is only in 5 issues, but he has 6 stories. There's 2 in his first appearance. Now, he's only mentioned on issue 1, 2, and 5. He has no cover appearance. He is not the first feature. In fact, in issue 5, he is the backup feature. Now, the story gets really weird really fast. The first issue has kind of a grounding in reality. I mean, except for the fact that he's got a ring. It's not a magical ring. He's transmuting things, in a sense. So, kind of grand in reality. The second story is extremely stupid, but after that, it gets weird. He makes an identical copy of himself so a version of him can stay on Earth while he goes and searches out for his father. He says that the power of mathematics and his will has caused him to be able to create a duplicate, identical in every way, so that he can go off and search for his father. So his friend Dusty says, where are you going to search for him? Europe, Asia? Nope, I'm going to planet Mercury. Which makes all the sense in the world. Of course, your father is missing. Obviously, he's on another planet. So he does go to planet Mercury and encounters bug creatures. After he frees them, he hears about his father traveling through a time gate. So not only is he a planet hopping hero, he's also a time traveling hero. So he goes through the gates and he figures that he has been transported millions of years into the future. And of course his father is there, so he's no longer an orphan. Go figure. Basically, in every issue, he's rescuing oppressed people by some sort of tyrannical evil. He meets a princess who he rescues. She falls in love with him, and in his, well, right before his second to the last appearance, he shows that he can teleport by mathematical equation. So they travel to another planet where the people are being ruled by a tyrannical person who's on another planet. So he uses his mathematical formula to teleport them to another planet. And the whole thing gets really stupid really quick. Like I said, 2 issues grounded on Earth. Everything else becomes other planets through time. The stories are all over the place. They're basically the same thing. And even though Adam Blake finds himself in momentary peril, the ring that he claims is a magical ring, let's forget the fact that everything is mathematics, gets him out of whatever peril that he finds himself in. So, momentarily captured by the bad guy, frees himself by the ring, frees the people in the end, and then he's off to the next planet to do the same thing. I mean, heaven forbid we go back to Earth so he can live. No, we need to go through planets and through time to stop tyranny. That's basically what they're doing. They're stopping tyrants. Can we say projecting much? This is 1940 and we know what was going on at the time. So that's a quick overview of Adam Blake. He is stronger. He's basically stronger, faster. He's more human than human, which all of this will be explained in the first issue when we cover him. And like I said, by his last issue, I think people were kind of disenchanted with him because, like I said, he is a backup feature in his last issue. So let's go ahead and cover the first appearance so you can see where they started off. And just as quickly as what happened with Wonder Man in the Door comics, they quickly abandoned their premise in the creation and go a completely different direction than what they started off with. Spacefaring, time-faring hero. So let's get into it. Adam Blake, the boy wizard. Interesting splash page. Okay, get a load of Dusty Davis face now. Oh boy, I can hardly wait. Wait. You're in a playground at recess. Why would you call him Dusty Davis? Wouldn't you just say Dusty? I mean, yeah, you're the bully, but still. Okay. At noon recess in front of Lincoln High School in Collegetown, Dusty Davis daydreams about vacation. Wow, who worded this? Unaware that Andy Grimm, the school bully, is sneaking up behind him. Hey, what's the big idea? Look out, I'm falling. You are just an exposition machine. Okay, And then we cut to this weird scene where the kid in the suit is behind the tree. But when Dusty plays some innocent trick on Andy Grimm, I'll teach you to try any monkey business with me. The bully can't take it. Why did you fragment that sentence into two different panels? Okay. Yeah, apparently the bully can dish it out, but he can't take it. And he's so mad that a short time later, still mad because Dusty hit him. Now, you see, he slams the kid to the ground, but he gets hit with the spit wad, and not only does he punch him, he has to set up with water. I mean, talk about, oh my God, this bully. Whatever happens to him is too good for him. So, I don't understand the point of this trick. I understand the bucket of water, but the whole purpose of this, if the teacher walked through the door, you have such a large range of failure. Why would you even try this? To save his own neck, Andy blames the trick on Dusty. It wasn't me, Mr. Merrick. Homer Davis put that pail of water up there. Why are you saying his full name? Okay, so without any proof whatsoever, Homer, Dusty, gets sentenced to what would be tantamount to after-school detention. He has to write on the blackboard 150 times. Homer Davis should know better. Okay. Now enters Adam. Watching all this, Adam Blake, a newcomer to Lincoln High School. When Mr. Merrick, the principal, steps into the office, Adam said, "Who worded this thing? Seriously? That was a sneaky trick you pulled on the little fella. Why don't you tell Mr. Merrick you put that water up there?" So he decides to kick Adam because, oh my God, this guy is, even for the 40s, this guy's just the worst. And he kicks Adam, and then Adam decides to have it out with him and knocks him out. If you can't take it, don't try to dish it out. So, let's see, later, Adam catches up with Dusty after school. Adam sips up to the classroom where Dusty is writing on the blackboard. And he doesn't think that Dusty should have to write all of this, so he decides to help out by faking his handwriting. "Crikey, you wrote over 100 of those, Adam. 100 of those, Adam, while I was doing 10. So Adam helps Dusty with the punishment, and then when they're outside, he breaks the rock. Whew, are you strong? You could have torn the ears off of Andy Grimm, but you could have torn the ears off of him? Well, say, why don't you get so, how did you get so hefty in the first place? Again, why did you say the first and last name? Everybody knows he was dealing with Andy. He's saying their name so many times, it doesn't feel realistic. I never thought of it quite like that. I'll have to look into it. So we find out that he is at his aunt's and uncle's house, and he finally decides to ask about his father. "Come into my study after dinner, Adam. I will tell you." After supper, Professor Page takes the large manila envelope from his desk. "Your father was the most brilliant study of physics I ever met, Adam. And he was a genius. We were fast friends all through college." The wording in here is just so disconjointing. And he said that he only wanted the envelope delivered to him when he was old enough to ask about it. And you see, this is January 1925. So he starts to read the papers, and he also lets his uncle read it. How could Stomp Blank expect a high school boy like Adam to understand this? It looks like a study in advanced higher mathematics. And all the paper is written in mathematical formula, but unknown to the unknown to his foster father, Professor Page. The letter written by Stop Blank, the mathematical genius, speaks in plain language to Adam, his son. So the whole papers are written in mathematical formula, but Adam can decipher the formula as clear as it was words. So he starts to describe the origin story, and I'm going to go ahead and read some of this just so we can get a better grasp of what this is. My dear son, you are no ordinary boy, as you probably know by now, since I am sure you will want to know why you are different from other boys. You're not like other boys. I am telling you the story that follows. 2 years ago, I perfected a machine capable of destroying atoms and releasing the energy stored in them. Your mother was my assistant up to that time. Shortly after this, you were born. I worked alone on an experiment. Seriously, who wrote this? To fuse the atoms from all the known elements into one super powerful metal, from which I hope to derive energy always available to mankind. I succeeded, but the strength of the rays coming from the metal were so strong that when I tried directing them at an orangutan, which I kept for that purpose. Okay, 2 problems. 1, that's not how you spell orangutan. It's, first of all, why did you fragment that word? It is one complete word. You should not have fragmented it. Also, take out the O. Orangutan is spelled Orangutan. I don't know why you fragmented that word. Okay, we'll continue. In the twinkling of an eye, the orangutan was burned to a cinder by the powerful ray. We decided that a person could be given super vitality in these rays if they were prepared for it properly. We began a series of experiments on you to make you a super being capable of absorbing this magical power. What if it didn't work? You kill an orangutan. You could have easily have killed your son. Okay, then on the day when you were certain you could stand direct treatment from the rays. Good night. The rest of the letter is missing. Now what am I going to do? So he decides that he is going to, I'm going to go help a boy I met at school today with his math homework. I'll be home early. So long. Okay, the moon is up in the sky. When you say you'll be home early, what is your definition of early? Are you meaning early in the morning? Like, I'll be back? I mean, I don't understand how you are leaving saying you'll be home early. The moon is out. So he's up in the room and he's talking to... How is Dusty your sounding board here? So Adam tells Dusty the story of his father and the powerful radioactive metal and how he himself is prepared to handle this metal. Seriously, why are you confiding in Dusty? I hardly think that he's the person you want to use as a sounding board. Anyways, they're talking for a while, and he was talking about the metal. Why, if you found that metal, you could rule the world with an iron fist, and you're just a kid. Yeah, I suppose so, except nobody knows where the metal is. And he says that your father might know, and he says that all he has is the ring that he keeps as a keepsake. And then as he, let's not forget, I haven't found the metal, and there's a slew of American history to do tonight. Ah, shucks, Adam, I'm tired of studying. Let's ride down to the park and back on our bikes before we start again. Okay, in the panel down here, we see the moon is out. And even though they're going by the bank and they said, hey, look who's at the bank at this time of night. Was it common for kids to be riding at nighttime in the dark? I mean, the moon was out in the earlier page that we just left, and the moon is out again. Are these kids... I really don't know that much about the 40s. Were kids riding around in bikes after dark? Anyways, Adam sees the people are robbing the bank, and he decides that he wants to stop them. He gets a drop down on him, and he starts to beat up the lookout people. But then the car pulls up, and they all descend upon him, and their numbers are greater than his strength. So, as he gets taken away, Dusty follows him and finds out that he's been taken to the shack. So as Dusty tries to get a better look, one of the lookout men notices him, grabs him, and throws him into the house and in the same vicinity as Dusty. Okay. Okay, sorry. So they got you too, huh, Dusty? And he looks at the ring on his finger and he goes, this is just normal lead, take it back. And as the ring banks off the wall, the ring opens and starts to emit a ray that Adam immediately... How did you immediately decipher what's going on here? Where's all that light coming from? Stay down on the floor behind me, Dusty. I'm all right, but the light from the ring would burn you into a crisp in 1/100th of a second. First of all, that's awfully specific. Second of all, how do you know that? I mean, you didn't even know what the ring was except it belonged to your father. How do you automatically know that those rays would kill him? And he looks into the ring and he can automatically decipher, because it was something was written in a mathematical formula on the ring. And listen to this, it says, if a man in need or by evil oppressed can this message read, who wrote this? I will grant his request. Testing the ring's power, Adam speaks a command. Let these wire bindings on my wrists and ankles blow away in smoke, and they turned into smoke. Okay, first closing the top of the ring so Dusty will not be harmed. Adam unbinds his pal. You could have said he untied him. So he wants to know how they're going to get out of the cellar, and you'll see a pier, tunnel. The wording in this is so weird. This way out, my friend. If this isn't a miracle, I never saw one. Wow. Seriously, who wrote this? Okay. So you can see it's still dark, and they find a police officer, and they tell him, we found the people who robbed the Collegetown National Bank. And he says, we can tell you where the mob that robbed the Collegetown National Bank is. Huh? If you kids are kidding, you're going to get a good whooping. Wow. Okay. Why would these kids be lying? Okay, so they come up to the building, and the officer immediately gets gunned down. Some fun, huh? Jesus, Dusty. Those crooks will kill a lot of good men before they're captured. Something's got to be done. So he takes his barrel and he says, I'll let the garbage can be a shield to guide me. So he blocks the bullets and leaps high into the window. Oh, this guy went all Captain America. Wait a minute, 1940. This is before Captain America. Look, Captain America's inspiration. So he goes into the house and he starts taking out the criminals one by one, until apparently he comes into this room and takes out a number of criminals at the same time with the gun. Okay. This ought to make life easier for the local constable. Constabulary. Now, I thought this was a really weird word to use, the constabulary, because they are in America. Even they said policeman, and even it says the police decide to rush into the house. The constabulary is used to refer to constables, and that's what you had in Britain. In Britain, England, they had constables, but I don't think we use constables in the U.S. So using the word constabulary in the U.S., I think is wrong. Now, I might be wrong about this. They might have used the word constable in the U.S. back in the 40s, but I don't believe that they did. And it's also interesting. Right here, this cop says, "Up with your hat." Well, I'll be jiggered. Now that is jiggered is an English phrase, because I did live in England and I remember hearing that phrase. So jiggered is an English phrase. I think we're in America. I mean, they're in College Town. Okay, a short time later, the reporters show up and the cops take the credit. And Dusty wants Adam to take the credit, and Adam's like, "No, listen, Dusty, I'm not interested in being a hero. You've got to promise you'll never tell anybody anything about me." And we'll go ahead and read this. With the excitement over, Adam and Dusty start back for home. "I still don't see why you didn't want credit for capturing the game. Forget it, Dusty. Come on, we've still got to finish your history assignment. Look on the next page for another thrilling adventure of Adam Blake." Yeah, you got to finish the history assignment because you got to get home because you told your parents you'd be home early. Early in the PM or early in the AM. Come on, Adam, tell us. Okay, and that is the first origin of Adam Blake. The reason it takes so long to get through this is there's a lot of wording on every page. A lot. Okay, I hope you at least enjoyed this review so you can at least see where Adam Blake came from. So, for the month of October, we are going to be doing Halloween-themed characters for the whole month of October. Sunday starts on the 1st of October, which gives us 5 heroes and 5 reviews. Now, I do have the 5 people picked out for this month. The only thing that I am debating on is who is going to be the last hero of the month, because I believe Halloween is on a Tuesday and I'll be doing the release on a Sunday. So that'll be the Halloween feature. So I don't know which one I'm going to use for the Halloween feature, but I have all the characters picked out for October. So tune into the October month to see the Halloween themes. And if you have a friend who likes this kind of stuff, go ahead and let them know about this channel. I always like having more subs and more views. So until next time, I'll be seeing you.